Hey everyone, it's Freezy here, back with another video, and in today's video, we are going to be making this Volkswagen bus into a drift build. So, let's get right into it. So, let's just take a look at all the doors and stuff first, because I find that's the most interesting part about Forza, is that you can go in and open up all the doors. So, let's just do that. I know there's a button to explode it all, but it's okay, I just want to open them up manually. Why can't I? There we go. I can also open the roof. And sometimes what they would do is they would, so people would get a custom company to build a tent for the top. So what you could do is you could open it up and then sleep in it. And actually, if you take a look at the Lego Volkswagen bus, that is the same as this one. Well, it doesn't have the windows at the top, but it actually is a pop-up camper at the top. And well, there's actually two Volkswagen buses now, I think. There's a new one and then there's the old one. There's a red one and then I think a teal one that Lego makes. So those both have the pop-up tent in the top. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to close the door here. And let's start it up and see what it sounds like. And the ones with the windows at the top are actually more rare. Now I'll let you listen to the engine note just quick. So I'll just be quiet and turn up the volume a little bit for you guys. Nothing special, but still pretty cool at that. So, oh, that's cool. You can actually see where the headlights are. That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. They actually have the headlight buckets on the inside. I never knew that about Volkswagen buses. That's interesting. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up all the doors here. Like this. Nope, that's the wrong button. Derp. We'll close up this. What I'm thinking of doing is showing you guys the engine too, even though we're taking it out completely. Still pretty cool to see that they have all of the detail in there, like all the cables and everything, and they even have, I wonder what that wire's for. Maybe it's for grounding or for the taillight, I don't know. But it's still pretty cool that they put this much detail into it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a route, and then I will be back once I'm out on the road. When I was a kid, I always thought these were like really, really, really cool. Like, it's, I don't know, it used to be my dream car. Definitely. Not anymore because I know how fast they go and they're not that fast. But it's still pretty cool. It's a cool thing. They're super expensive now, though, for certain ones. And they're getting kind of hard to find now, which is kind of unfortunate. But, I don't know, it's still a cool thing. I think because it's getting more rare, a lot more people are wanting it. So, yeah. Go into the exterior view again. This thing handles pretty nice, and it handles pretty nice at being a drift car. Because I have built one back in, ooh, that was close. I built one back in Horizon 4, and it worked pretty good. So, that's why I decided to choose this. Because the series is called Crazy Drift Builds that actually work. So, and this Volkswagen bus, I don't know, it surprised me when it was really good at drifting. So, I don't know, it's pretty cool that you can make these insane drift cars, because they've added, oh, sorry, pickup truck, I did not mean to do that. They've added the drift tires and the drift differential. Well, actually, I still like to tune my own differential, but I still put in the drift diff. I don't really need to put in the drift differential because I know how to tune it myself. And basically, what you're paying for is a preset differential setup. So what I think I might do is I might buy a race differential this time and tune it to my liking. So, and I'm doing pretty good at avoiding all these cars and stuff. Pretty good at avoiding traffic. It is a sandstorm currently, so it might be a bit hard to take a look and see if there's any cars coming. But most of these drivatars are pretty slow because they have stock vehicles. So it's pretty easy to avoid all of them. There is a drivatar right ahead of me though. Only thing that I wish you could see is all of the traffic. So I think that would be a good idea, just so then you could know when to avoid them, because during the development phase of Forza Horizon 5, when they showed it off for the first time, you could actually see all of the AI cars when you're driving around, but they took that out, which I think it might be pretty handy, because I always I hit a lot of vehicles because I can't see where they are. But I think it would be pretty handy, because then you could look down at your map and say, oh, there's an AI car coming towards me. I should probably avoid it, right? So, I don't know. Just some ideas. Throwing out random ideas as I'm driving around here. Okay, and now... Oh, that's the wrong driveway. Always mess this up. Always mix up the driveways. So, we'll go into our house here, and we are going to build this thing. Ah, the wind stays though. That's the only thing, the wind stays. So, what I think I might do is I'm going to switch to another house just quick, because that wind from the sandstorm might get a little bit annoying after some time. So, I'll be right back once I have found another house. Okay, so we're at another house. We're near the beach now, far away from the sandstorm, because the sandstorm would be all the way over there. So I'm just glad that I got out of there, because that would have been pretty annoying to listen to the whole time that I was building this thing. And I don't know. So I'm gonna exit out of here, and we will go and upgrade this thing. What I'm thinking first is that we'll put some drift tires on it and do the whole suspension setup and everything first. So I think that'll be good. Drift tire compound. It's a little bit more slippery with those drift tires on, which is good because we want that. So then it loses traction just a little bit. I'm going to give it thinner front wheels. I don't know exactly what that does for drift cars, but I don't know, I'll just go for that aesthetic. And we'll go for a bit of a lighter wheel, which all of these wheels, well, most of these wheels are lighter. But I want something that looks pretty cool. So what can we put on here that looks really cool? We have these. Those are too deep though. So let's have a look. We want something that's retro but modern at the same time, which can be a little bit hard to do. Ooh, those OZ wheels look pretty good. I like those. Might leave those stock, like stock color. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna make the wheels a tiny bit bigger. And then now what we are going to do is we're going to go up here. Give it better brakes. I will turn down the braking pressure a little bit, just so that it's easier if I ever want to tandem this Volkswagen bus. And we'll give it drift suspension, so then we have more angle on the wheels. So then we are able to catch it if it's going to slide a lot. We will put on full anti-roll bars, because we don't want this thing tilting from side to side, because it is a Volkswagen bus. It's a bit top heavy. We'll add in some chassis reinforcements. Even though it adds 61 pounds, it makes the frame more rigid and everything. So that'll make it easier to drift. And what we will do is we will put race weight reduction on there, because I think that's a good idea. And we are already running rear wheel drive. Yes, we are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a... We want 6 speed, so that's the regular transmission. And why I don't use the 4 speed is because then I have more tunability when it comes to tuning the gearing setup. Just so then I have different gears for different corners and different speeds. So then I have more control over it. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in race diff. And we don't really need a drift diff because I know how to already tune a differential. So let's see. Okay, and I'm going to put in a bit of a better motor just so we have more horsepower. Like that. Then we're going to add in twin turbos. And then we can upgrade the motor. So we want lots of power. So I'm just going to add all of these upgrades here. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory. The camshaft makes it so then it has a higher revving engine. Air filter or intake makes it easier for the engine to receive air. These are mostly for power. They don't need much explanation. But I think we're almost done. I do want to take off the front bumper and the rear bumper, just so it's a tiny bit lighter. And I think we might add that top part on. So that's good. That's looking pretty cool. I like that. It's kind of modern and retro at the same time. So install the setup. We have 957 horsepower. We've taken the weight from 2,513 pounds to 2,420 pounds. And we get 1.5 lateral Gs now, apparently. Now it's A788, so A-Class is pretty good. I don't usually build my cars in A-Class, like for drifting, but I'm interested in trying to learn to drift in A-Class, so it's fine. Differential, so we want the acceleration to be high and the deceleration to be low. We'll take down the braking pressure to 85, which will make it easier for, like, we can have a lot more control over our brakes. Sure, we won't have as much braking distance now, but oh well. Gearing, we are going to pull this back, and I think I'm going to aim for right around here, because we don't need it to go too fast. Then what we're going to do is we are going to set this to 2.0 and 1.5, and now we're just going to raise this up just a tiny bit. Then arrow, we don't need. Differential, we've already tuned, and now we need to do alignment. So the toe, we want it to go out a little bit at the front. I don't know why exactly you want that, but I guess it's, I don't know, I'm not really sure the entire explanation. I just know it helps with drifting. Apparently our 0 to 60 has failed, 0 to 100 has failed. Okay, interesting. And now that we have done that, we'll go to paint car. We're going to go for a bit of a different paint job on this one. So I'm going to go for a pink Spectre Flame for the bottom section. And then we will choose chrome for the top section here. And we'll do it as like a matte chrome. if you would call it that. Well, it'd be brushed chrome, I guess. And what we're going to do for paint group 1, no, paint group 2, I think. Yes. We're going to do a copper. Kind of accent the pink a little bit. Perfect. So this is looking really good. I really like it so far. And then I'm going to save to current car. And then now we will take it to the top of the mountain. And we're going to drift all the way down, which will be pretty good. So I will be back in a second. Okay, so I'm at the top of the mountain now, and let's see how this Volkswagen drifts. I'm assuming fairly well. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this thing works really well. Oh my gosh. Okay. It is a bit of a shorter wheelbase, so I still have to be careful of not spinning this thing out. But it works pretty well. It's pretty comfortable to drift if I don't hit anybody. Ooh, almost spun out there. But this thing's pretty easy to control. And I definitely say for you guys to give it a try at some point. Building one of these. Because there are a lot of quirky vehicles in Forza. And it's really cool to build them into drift cars, because then sort of have a unique drift car that, well, some people might have the idea of building it, but most likely most people have not tried building a drift car out of these. So there we go. And you can really send it through these corners with no issue. Has plenty of power. Even though it's an A-class, it's still really good at this. So this has been episode 3 of crazy drift builds that actually work. And I will see everyone in the next video. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. Probably think about subscribing. If you don't want to, it's fine. I don't mind at all. But if you do think of subscribing, if my content does get boring, you can unsubscribe. So there you go, that's sort of my mentality behind it. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!